Okay, everybody is tweeting about Lockheed. No, Trump's tweeting about uranium. Julian Assange is tweeting about uranium. Charles Ortel, I saw, just tweeted about uranium. John Cardillo's report about uranium. Great overview of this. And you'll see right here, I'm in a little bit further north in Bethesda. We were at Bethesda Naval Hospital a minute ago, right? We were at the Walter Reed Army Hospital, Naval Hospital there, as well as NIH, National Institute of Health. Let's see, who works there? Well, Andre Taggart's wife works there. Andre Taggart's wife works there. Tanae Taggart, I believe, works at Walter Reed Army Naval Hospital in Bethesda. And I think she's going to be coming into the story. We're going to get to learn one more Taggart. But that's getting ahead of the story. Right now, let's stay with the Russia story. And most everybody has reported this Russian named Mikarin. Mikarin, think of bickering. He's bickering about his bribes. He's bickering about bribes. He's Mikarin. He's the Russian. He's the Russian giving all the money, right? Well, he's the one giving money to a company here that I'm just happen to be standing right outside of. Now they're all just office buildings, so it's not that exciting, but you can see the address right there. And it's going to be called United States Enrichment Corp. I'm not making this up. United States Enrichment Corp. Bob highly enriched uranium did not have any more creativity than calling it United States Enrichment Corp. I am not making this up. USEC at Democracy Center. I'm not making this up. United States Enrichment Corps. United States Enrichment Corps. There it is. Democracy Center. Not making this up. What is Mikarin doing? The guy who's bickering about bribes? Mikarin, the Russian, with the $2 million in bribes to United States Enrichment Corp. Well, he's smart. He goes to the weakest link in the chain. When you want to get in a rat line, when you want to take over somebody's business, you go to the weakest link in the chain. United States Enrichment Corp was established in 1992 from the megatons, taking the megatons off the top of the Russian warheads and turning it into megawatts, selling it to U.S. nuclear reactors. Well, it has to get from Russia to here somehow. And the last mile, the weakest link, is your transportation logistics. Transportation logistics, your last mile is always the mile you want to go after. The local guy, the local private contractor, who, if you give him a bribe, it makes a big difference to his business, not a major supplier in the backbone of the route. You go after the weakest link. Well, that's exactly what bickering about bribes, it's exactly what he did. He went for the transportation logistics. And guess what? The company is called Transportation Logistics. The company is called Transportation Logistics. They did not get very creative. Well, that company is about 20 miles away from here. The trucking company, it's a trucking company, and they're given the exclusive contract. U.S. Enrichment Corp, not making that up either, U.S. Enrichment Corp has the exclusive contract for selling Russian uranium in the United States. And Transportation Logistics has the contract for bringing it here. Okay? Now, here's where it gets interesting, and here's the part nobody's reporting. There's a couple of fancy changes, fancy switches, Switcho changeos I call them, that happen at Transportation Logistics. First of all, there's an unknown. I got a Scrunch coming for me. Hey, Scrunch! He's coming at me pretty fast, but he turned off. Transportation Logistics has a guy gets forced out. I always wonder when somebody starts a company and they're very successful, and all of a sudden they get forced out of their own company. Now, some people call that a CIA takeover. Some people call it a Switcho changeo. We'll call it whatever you like, but anytime I see this is the signature of a person who builds a business from nothing builds it up to a great business, gets a great contract with U.S. Enrichment Corp, Transportation Logistic, and then he gets forced out. Normally they do that by packing the board. Normally there's a board of about 5 in a small family trucking business, and they pack it with 7. You know, they bring in all these guys that promise all this business. They pack the board. Well, then one day the guy comes in, they've all voted him out. They force him into retirement. That's what I think it happens to Fisk. I think Fisk comes forward as an informant, says, hey, this is bullshit. I don't like what's going on. Sorry about the bad language. What does the FBI do? Well, I think they made him an informant. I think they used him as an informant. This is Mueller's deal, by the way. This is Mueller, Bob Highly Enriched Mueller's deal, and it's McCabe's deal. McCabe is the guy who gets this for JTTF, the Counterintel Division of FBI, doesn't share it. Hosko, the guy who's running criminal at FBI, never sees this deal. This is all covered up by McCabe and Mueller, Highly Enriched Mueller. Okay? They use confidential informants. I know this signature by McCabe by heart. Use the confidential informant to commit all the crimes for you. Get all the money, then get rid of the confidential informant. Am I saying that he killed Fisk? I'm not saying he killed Fisk, but Fisk dies about 2 years later after the forced retirement. They bring in a guy named Lambert, very young, 30 years old. Is he the CIA replacement? Taking over this critical company that has this critical last mile to this person with a monopoly in the U.S. uranium trade? Is that for a transition to bring in your guy, Condrey? I don't know, but Condrey takes over. A guy named Condrey takes over the business. I know it's complicated. I call it the Switcho Chango. Some people call it the CIA takeover, but it sure looks like that's what happened in this case. So when you hear the reporting on this, ask about Fisk. How did he get pushed out? Who was the confidential informant, Mr. McCabe? Who was the confidential informant, Mr. Mueller? Who was Lambert? Why was he involved in the deal? Why does a 30-year-old all of a sudden take over a company that's been built over 30 years of guys' hard work? Okay? And then where's Condrey come from? And then to top it all off, they charge Condrey. So they get everybody involved to do all the dirty work for him, get all the money, get the contracts, and then they stab them all in the back. That's what I think happened here, Mueller and McCabe.